Now, here is a problem. As we're speaking about opposition parties and the challenges that they're facing in the country, the NUP party is actually facing a very, very, very big challenge. And the worst part about this is before all this, they've been facing other challenges in regard to them being frustrated by a number of issues. Court is one of them, and Chibalama being the other pain that they have had to deal with. Now, they're dealing with financial constraints, and it gets me wondering what happened to Muda Kumuda, or what happened to the money that people are paying for what we would call the subscription fee with NUP. Now, see, when a lot of other parties were putting their card at 5,000, 10,000, 20, 25, depending, NUP decided to put it at a fee of 1,000 Ugandan shillings, which was a good move because we've had people in the ghetto, people in the slums, people down there in the villages who are part of the electoral process in the country, and they still have to vote. However, here's what happens when you put your party card at 1,000 Ugandan shillings, regardless of whether that person has money or not. Here's what happens. They come out to ask for financial help. Now, NUP as a party is very young. And Robert Chagulanyi has said their members are failing to pay the 300,000 Ugandan shillings nomination fee that has been put. And that's a very hard position for NUP as a party to go through at this moment. Actually, 3 million nomination fees required for members of parliamentary
according
positions.
to electoral commission.
Yes, member of parliamentary positions. And he says the party has no capacity to support them. They had their vetting process. And now, if the party members are failing to come up with money to pay for the MP nomination fees, what does it mean for them?
Well, it means that they're most likely to go to face hard times ahead, because it is a party that is barely 4 months, or it's close to 3 months in the political environment. When you look at other parties like the NRM, NRM has been in power for the last 35 years. And during the presidential address, after the NRM primaries, President Yavaina agamba nti nga ekibiina bagenda tandika okunganya sente. Okay?
Yes.
They are going to engage into business.
Yes.
Several business activities, omuli real estate and so many other. N'agamba nti all members of parliament are going to be subjected to a 20% deduction from their salaries.
Yes.
Okay, so all that money goes into their coffers.
Yes.
Unlike what exactly is going on in the National Unity Platform, a party that is barely 2 to 3 months.
Exactly.
I doubt if they have the money or they have the capacity to hold primaries or to support their members financially, because when you compare NRM and NUP, NRM yavaine gamba nti bagenda kugulira all their candidates, all their flag bearers, they are going to buy for them airtime for campaigns. Okay, literally they have the money, so we need to cut a slack to this party that is barely 4 months in the political environment.
We've already cut a slack for them. However, the ultimate question is, what's the way forward for them? Because even the Muda Kumuda campaign, we have not had how much they have collected so far. And remember now, where they used to get their money, that was from their correspondents abroad and their supporters abroad who used to send money. They had allegations that the money was being misused, so some of them withdrew from helping NUP collect that money because of those allegations. There's also an allegation that Bobi Wine's brother was giving people another account or another, mobile money number for them to send the money to, and that money didn't reach National Unity Platform. All those are allegations, and we're not saying we know a lot about them, but that is one of the reasons that was given for their international support team to withdraw from collecting and sending money to NUP. Now, if the fundraising has not helped them, and if Muda has not helped them, what other plan does NUP have? Because aside from coming out and saying twetago buyambi mukoze chimwe nga NUP, what have you done to help yourselves? Kwangolaba FDC Gambia, it's going to pay money for their member of parliament aspirants for the nomination fees bagenda basasula, and NRM said the airtime on radios and TVs, because it's scientific elections, we're going to pay for them, and we're going to make sure that we pay for all your, nominations and all that process. Now, NRM has money. There's no, a disagreement on that. NRM and Innocent.
True.
Coming back to FDC, FDC has been in the game for too long. And that only means that they also have money-generating activities. Now, coming back to NUP, which is our baby project in Uganda, Tenaba kuweza 3 months, like you said, Tewalina projects, and the only chance they have of survival is fundraising.
Yeah, that is true. Their only base of survival apparently is through fundraising.
Exactly.
And ekyennaku ngabo ogambye ekinakuwaza nti wali abantu ab'emitima emibi abali batandise okusubjectinga NUP into investigation. Olw'ensonga sente ze zaali zizenga zibagamba nga zimu.
Let me correct you for
according to the party spokesperson.
No, let me correct you for a minute. Wogamba waliyo abantu aba mutima mubi aba subjectinga NUP to investigations. It doesn't make sense. What you could say is waliyo abantu aba omutima mubi aba the ones who played with the money that was brought, because all these guys were asking for is tubawa decent oshegera kati mutuwe ku accountability oshegera and omuntu w'omutima mubi tasobola kusaba for accountability. If I'm giving you my money weba nkuwa sente zange njagala kumanya what did you use it for. Give me the accountability.
But still, you can also look into the manner in which the accountability was inquired for. We remember that lady, the head of NUP,
Amani,
yes, Amani, in the diaspora. It was after being thrown out that she's trying to come out and started demanding for all the accountabilities, throwing all the allegations that the money was misused. So it wasn't in good faith.
That wasn't the trajectory of the event. Actually, according to the stories we received, she asked for accountability and then was thrown out. That is according to the trajectory of events. It wasn't because she was thrown out, then she asked for accountability. I mean, if she was thrown out, how would she have the right to ask for accountability? Tasobola, if she was no longer a leader. So at the end of the day, the arrangement was Amani asked for accountability and was thrown out. Now, all that is hearsay. Naye chengamba ababantu bonna obalaba bali mu red berets babo banji nyo. What are they doing? Because they have gone into independent, and that is going to affect them financially as well. Kwango laba, someone who was competing with the other ngalina sente ze mugagga oshegera no mujayo no take omuntu omulala. That means that the financial capability that they had to help the party is no longer there. That one is gone. Now, for me, the concern right now is what is the way forward for NUP?
The way forward, apparently, according to me, I cannot confirm to anybody, but according to me, my only opinion would be that let them keep on with soliciting for funds from different people and well-wishers, because that is the only way. Unlike other parties that are capable of getting help from within their own members, and also other parties, looking at FDC being one of the strong opposition party, they receive fundings from the Electoral Commission, they receive money from iPod, okay? All other parties that have members in the August House, bafuna sente okuva mu government, and they also get, during this period of elections, they are entitled to a certain amount of money from the Electoral Commission, unlike NUP, which is still a baby and it doesn't have any member of parliament apart from its party president that was registered as an independent. So they shouldn't expect any kind of funding from the government. However, okunganya sente okuva mu well wishers n'abalatu abalala bonna is the only way to go.
Atebambi, the political situation came at a very bad time. If it was then, before COVID-19, Bobi Wine would be hitting some some of his songs concerts however even the government themselves or even the police has frustrated Bobi Wine and taken that talent away from him, taken the only, I'm not saying it's the only one, but the biggest money making and a platform where he raised his voice for the voiceless. They took that away from him, and that means they have crippled Chagulanyi, and there's not much that he can do as an individual for the party in terms of raising finances and in terms of being as vocal as he used to in his music. Now they've come to a time where my advice would be that a lot more people are still coming for the party cards. Now you can see the difference between someone like Latifa, who can only afford to pay 10,000 for the party card, and someone like SK Mbuga, who can afford to pay 100 or more for the party card. Now what I would say is that what they can do is talk to, try and make a change in how much they give the party cards out, and do that.
Well, Latifa, when you look at all people who are going into NUP, and when you look at their interests, they're quite different.
Yeah.
They're quite different. And I told you that this is going to create quite a number of independent candidates. Olw'ensonga nti ebigendererwa byabwe byakwekwata kulinnya Kyagulanyi, kwekwata kulinnya nti akakofiira ka ready, ninga ebigendererwa byabwe, they are not, some of them are not patriotic
They're
enough.
not patriotic.
That's a reason as to why I'm trying to ask majority of them that bubanga ddala walina omutima gw'ekibiina, lwaki waba bakubye mu kamyufu oba mu vetting process, lwaki osalawo kujjanga independent? Why don't you stand against oyo muntu gwebabeera bawadde ki? What oyimira behind omuntu gwebabeera bawadde card?
Here's the other challenge that NUP is going to face. Most of their supporters are youth. Most of the NUP supporters, bavuvuka who are trying to get
make
employed.
A life.
Exactly. Bavuvuka who are very unemployed in the country. Now, how are they going to be able to raise that money for NUP? Batonyo tebalina sente, they're still struggling. Even the musicians who are supporting Bobi Wine and NUP, sente zabaweddeko, tuli mu COVID-19 situation, they're also struggling. So I'm very skeptical and scared, because even as they're struggling with finance, their court issues are still ongoing. Their supporters and members are being arrested day in, day out, and they need a lawyer to put them out. They need bail during that time. There's a lot going on that is
there's a lot going on.
NUP that I'm scared for the party.
It's true, there is a lot going on. Era sola chiwakanya naye njagala tukomparinge. Bwemba nga muli mu struggle Latifa. Let me give you this information, and everybody watching the show. Bwemba nga muli mu struggle.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not about money. When you look at how President Museveni came into power, yatandika ne mundu mmeka.
Hey, Simon Chris Makanga, let's not go there.
No.
Why I'm saying
President Museveni yatandika ne mundu mmeka. Yatandika n'abantu bameka.
The politics that we are looking at today is the politics of money, mukwano gwange. It's the politics of money, whereby if you don't have the money to pay for the nomination fees, you're not going to be nominated, and if you're not nominated, you're not going to stand as a political contender. Now, what
example, Latifa. Ebintu byakyuse. I covered Bashir's nomination. Kasaba muwa card. Yaita mu balonzi be, and I covered that. Believe you me, the NUP supporters are patriotic about their party. What I saw, these people are truly ngabali mu struggle. Bashir yali avuga bali bamuvuga ku border, and wherever buli wamu yayitanga abantu bajoininga bujoinings. Okay, border guys rode their bicycles. I mean their motorbikes. Ninga tebafayo oba mafuta bagajewo oba wa, they were just patrioting obalabira ddala bali mu struggle. So I'm trying to give you this information that President Museveni byatandika olutale lweru. Yatandika ne mundu mmeka. Okay, we need to look into that. Yatandika n'abantu bameka, and how many people went on joining him? I barely think, or I barely confirm if he really had enough money to facilitate that guerrilla war from 1980 up to 1986.
You're describing a guerrilla war, which fine needed financing. And at that particular time, he, you know, consolidated and got financing from different countries. Now, let me tell you something.
I doubt if he got any funding from any countries. That was after he captured power.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'll have to take you back into the history of how President captured power. However, coming back to what we're discussing.
How did he capture power?
Coming back to what we're discussing.
How did he capture power?
Robert Chagulanyi is at a very hard position.
Soko tunulira abana abo. Abo soko la bechifananyi ekyo.
Simon Chris, does passion does passion and patriotism for a party put food on the table? This is where my grandma told me, but this is where my grandma told me love doesn't put food on that table. And this is where we're coming back to NUP. Their love for the party, take a mere on the table. It's not going to pay the 3 million.
It's you women who have always been saying that love is not about money.
Oh, things have changed.
Into love, I only need your presence. So what exactly is needed here is for you to be present and be patriotic about your party.
Let's be realistic and not be passionate and discuss on, you know, a perspective of I'm very passionate about something. But like I said, how realistic is it that NUP will be able to raise this money before the 2021 general elections? The only option they have is for their members with their passion to come up and give money to the party as much as they can and say, this is our sacrifice to the party. I will sell everything I have to make a sacrifice to the party. Without that, I am very scared for NUP in the 2020 elections. Unless the coalition happens, NUP is in trouble. For Robert Chagulanyi to come out and tell people publicly, there's a problem.
I'm trying to look at the footage. Mulimu abantu abajja let me give you an example. Nti bobo ogenda ku mukolo okoze embaga yo noyita abantu boyise, okay? Sinti buli muntu azze mupa mu mbaga yo abeera akuwishinga n'omutima omulungi. So that's exactly what is going to happen to NUP. Nga bwalabye ekifaananyi ekyo kibadde ku TV nti tulabyemu basajja mivule, tulabyemu bagundi, waliwo ono promoter Bajjo n'abalala bangi, and some of them have already defected, bakivuddemu dda. So abo abanaasigalamu abo be bagenda otwala ekibiina ekyo mu maaso. Okay, I don't want to sound like their PRO, but I'm speaking realities. Bobo in a political lenses, everybody can see this, whether you're NRM, whether you're DP, whether you're what, you can clearly see this.
Your political lens.
Bonna abanasigala mu kibiina ekyo, they will do whatever it takes to make sure that the fundings are raised. Even those that are patriotic nga bali mu struggle bagala kukyusa oba bagala capturing buyinza, they will do whatever it takes to make sure that they fund the party. Buli kimu kijja kuggwa.
Well, at the end of the day, that's the only solution. And I'm even surprised that Bobi Wine came publicly to cry for help because they need to how do they call it? Like, they need to organize an internal fundraising, you know, kind of committee, an internal fundraising way of getting that money, and coming out to publicly cry for help to get Muyamba.
Literally all the parties have done that.
You know what it is doing for Bobi Wine right now, and in the eyes of other opposition political parties, it is showing that Mulibubi.
No, Latifa.
Mulibubi. And it's true that they're struggling. Because, like I said earlier, apart from their financial constraints, NUP is already going through a lot of other issues with a lot of people trying to frustrate them. My fear is it's a small party with all these frustrations and all these issues going on in the NUP party. What is their future? Are they going to survive?
Your information, Latifa. No, even everybody watching the show. President Museveni we are capturing a power. He opened wings ng'anoonya wawayinza okujja ssente okutambuza ensi. Yali agenda okwewola ne bamugamba nga tonnaba kwewola, okimanyi wano mu Uganda mulimu abantu abalina ssente ze basobola okuwola. And believe you me, the late Sebana Kizito yawolako government ya Uganda.
That is what I'm saying. Okay? That is what Bobi Wine should do.
Anti kyekugamba nti all parties have gone through this. And the FDC byalinga eva mu reform agenda edda mu FDC okompiti okujja mu kaluka 2021 it also opened
I
wings.
agree with
Now
you.
you take a wing and
I agree with you. I agree with you. But for me, what is your plan A before you come out like this? Ochitegera, what are you planning to do as a party before you... This is not the first time they're coming out to say that we need money. See, the Mudaku Muda campaign was amazing. It was a very smart move for the NUP party. Can we have more smart moves like this other than we need help? It's a cry for help, and a cry for help makes you look weak. Now, on that note, we'll take a break and we'll be back to discussing the political situation in the... I'm laughing because what we're doing, I'm laughing because our producer says that would rather read a few comments because a lot of people have come back to our Facebook platforms and they're talking about the same story that we're looking at right now. Simon Chris, what do we have?
Joseph Walcott, I think, is trying to give me some information saying that, Chris, my brother, politics of 1960s and today politics, and it's about money and numbers, maybe luck. Chagulanyi has come out in a difficult times. Yes, without doubt, he has been lucky. He is loved by unemployed, but still being a threat to the government can never be given any peace till the last point. He will be disorganized, slow down, as we have seen him being blocked from shows, TV shows, radios are moving out of Kampala.
And Remy Kugonza is saying the lady should know that even America and Great British also ask for money from their people. Well, they do, and that's what Bobi Wine ought to do. But my question is, how are you doing it? Because that's an important process. Now, Anthony Musoke says even Americans come publicly, and it's the same opinion. And Sula Magala says Bobi Wine to come in for public help, that was just a pretense, my dear. But for sure, he must be having a big funder behind the screen. Well, that's information that you've given us, and I guess we may have to investigate that. Well, there are very many other discussions that are going on, and people have their comments. And Trick Urban Uganda, I actually want to read your comment. It's a very interesting and funny comment. And he says, and I am actually offended by this comment. Because he is insulting the person of every woman. He says the women are always like that. Temusalao. Really, Trick, really, we women actually know how to make decisions better than men. So yes, we make decisions. And he says that Latifa Torina Shotuga.
And then my namesake Makanga John saying, yo, my brother, but how do you compare guerrilla war in an election which needs to be funded by money? But even a guerrilla war needed to be funded. And no wonder when the Bible was sent, they started abantu babatwaliranga obuwunga ne babwa muwogo. So all struggles are always funded. Either money or in kind. Buli kimu struggle yonna always needs to be funded. Well,
thank you very much. Shamira Moobs, she calls herself Shamira Moobs. I hope Moobs doesn't stand for Makerere University Business School or something. But Shamira, I hear your comment, and I also, I'm in the same line with you, and I hear your comment. So thank you very much for sending in your comments, and keep them coming as we're discussing the very many topics on NUP being part of it, and then Buganda and Uganda independence. We're always happy to have you texting on our Facebook and for us to interact with you this way. We totally appreciate your presence.